Everyone tries to say, "Oh, this is our system." You're full of it. Matter of fact, a good friend of mine, Ron Van Browning, taught Guy Metzger to become the UFC champion. He was teaching me elbow destructions long before I ever knew what they existed.
Right.
Because that was the dirty part of Western boxing. It wasn't Filipino. The Filipinos put their own little flair, putting the guntings and the cruzadas in and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's Western boxing with a little Filipino spice. I mean, think about martial arts like this. How many cultures use rice?
Almost all of them.
Okay, so let's say we have Filipino food,
Yeah.
we have Thai food, we have Chinese, we have Korean. Are the elements all the same?
Yes.
Pretty much.
But the way they do the presentation is different, and each has its own unique. And that's the whole thing about martial arts. It's all the same.
Yeah.
All the same.
Well, I always liken it to the fact that, we all have 2 feet, 2 hands.
Yeah.
You're not going to really do anything surprisingly different than anybody else.
So I mean, but the problem with we need to. Okay, so worst case scenario, we know that boxing is part of Filipino culture.
Right, because
Manny Pacquiao, baby.
Yes.
So they'll take it or they'll try. So if your weapon system doesn't have empty hand combatives, learn some boxing.
Yes.
Because you need to be able to teach people. If you want students, you need to teach the open hand combatives, and if you don't know it, get help.
Right. No, and you're totally right, because a lot of the schools that you see who are not in the clique of the old monos, right? They say, "Oh, I learned it such and such, but I opened my own school," and then you're looking like, "Yeah, you didn't learn the things you should have learned." You look at them and say, "What's your lineage?" And like, I go, "Your master would be rolling in his grave if that was really the case,"
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna say this here. None of this matters if you don't care. If you're just doing the martial arts for you, who cares? But if you're worrying about the legacy, going on another generation, to me, it's very important that Remy's art and Ernesto's art goes beyond us.
Right.
I want to see, the Parker's Kempo was huge after Mr. Parker died. It was big while he was alive, too.
Right.
But why did it survive? Because there were standalone academies.
Right.
Okay, and here's the problem. With Filipino martial arts, we got to get the F out. We're martial artists. We're not Filipino martial artists. We're martial artists that happen to specialize in a martial art that comes from the Philippines.
Ooh, I love that.
And when we say we're Filipino martial artists, a lot of times people say, well, of course we don't have schools. We're Filipino martial artists. Bullshit. Get that mindset out. That's the handicap. That's the prejudice that is handcuffing us. And the problem here is the other thing. It's just that look at talent. Don't look at their skin color.
Right.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Remy gave it to the people who knew the art more than anyone else, and it wasn't the Filipinos.
Right.
It was his American students that, like myself, I've been with them for 16 some odd years straight, 16 years straight of a development. He'd gone from the Philippines for 26 years. They don't know anything about how it got to where it is today.
Yeah, right.
They could tell you how that era was, which is important to know about our past so we can figure out where we're going in the future. But the thing here is, I hear all these things, and I'm glad I'm on the East Coast,
Right.
Because I'm not judged by my skin color. I'm judged by
Your talent.
my talent. And if I didn't have talent, I wouldn't be doing seminars.
Yeah, dude, I admire you for all of what you're just talking about, because, like I said, I've said this before, Filipino martial arts from Filipinos is not what it's cracked up to be. But you go outside of the Philippines and you hear these different countries learning Filipino martial arts and making it almost much more superior to what you can find in the Philippines, outside of the big names, of the
What big names?
well, like the Manongs, like you said, the Blentua, Anchon, and these guys, right?
They're gone.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
But nobody came in after them as Filipinos to make it. Everybody. I mean, look at Paquiti, right? Who do you have there that's making that really prominent? Bill McGrath.
In the States.
Right?
Yeah.
In the States. I mean, he's the only one who's really,
Well, you got Jed Wahangi.
Yep.
You
Jared.
got Tim Wade. There's a lot of people out there.
But you get what I'm saying, though. But they're not from the Philippines.
Well, Leo's still there. He's got stuff
Well,
going on.
Leo's Leo.
I
But
didn't
you
say
get
that.
what I'm saying, though, right? The people who have made it even more better are the people who are not even in that country.
Listen, well, the people,
Yeah.
the people who spread the art are not the Filipinos.
Right.
They are the ones that came to us, the non-Filipinos, not white,
Right.
the non-Filipinos.
I'm not Filipino, folks.
Remy moved to the States. That was good for us.
Right.
It goes back to, do you need to go to the Philippines? No, because they're all here. Angel Cabales was here.
Yep.
Leo Jaron was here.
Yep.
Remy Preces was here.
Yep.
Bobby Tabata still is here.
Yes.
Okay, and
Still dancing.
you know we can talk. And Danny Asano's here.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, we can go through the list. You know, there's a lot of top-notch guys here, so there's no need. And actually, in most systems, you don't have to go to the motherland because a lot of the people moved here. I mean,
Right.
why would you go to Brazil to do BJJ when there are all these masters here? Why would you go to Thailand when there's all these people here? Now,
Right.
going to a boot camp, an intensive. For me, I go to the Philippines not for martial arts. I go for the culture.
Right. No, exactly.
You know,
Food.
I can get the food here too. But I mean,
Is there a lot of good Filipino food in Buffalo?
they just got 2 places that just opened up, so really good, really good. So
On your behest.
Pinoy boy. I don't get an endorsement deal from that yet, but they're really good. So you know, well, and I think the problem is, like I said, once again, 1% of the population does martial arts, and then 1% of that does FMA, which means we're 1 in 10,000. I do all this trained fighter versus trained fighter material,
Right.
but I do it for skill development, and I tell my students that.
Right.
There's a separation, yeah.
There's a separation. So we need to sit there and say, all right, if you cannot teach people everything, listen, people are not going to come to you for a weapon-based system,
Right.
as on a whole, not by numbers. And if you want to, if you need to put a big net to catch as many people as you want. You know, you don't throw one fishing pole in the water. You throw as many as possible to get as many lines going. And
That's what a license allows.
yeah. And when we do this, we're just, you know, the problem is students quit. So you need to attract as many people as possible.
Right.
And if you sit there and say, well, I don't teach children, well, it's probably not going to happen. Well, I don't teach, I don't teach more than one person at a time. Okay, like my Balintawak instructor only took so many, Ted Buat may have been the leading authority for Anchon system. But Bobby Tablata is the one that has recruited the most amount of people. He is the
yes.
ambassador of the art.
Yes, definitely.
Now, I'm glad I studied with Ted.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that I got from him, and I think the group methodology has its place, and I actually adopted that into my training curriculum. But I mean, I think I got the best of both worlds. But the thing here is, a lot of the students don't get the same lessons that I would have gotten because they didn't go through the scenario-based training.
Right.
So let me ask you this, because you're talking about having to be very eclectic in your martial arts.
And I'm eclectic because I'm looking at the roots of modern arnis.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So let's look at MMA fighters.
Okay.
Well, they'll go 3 or 4 different systems that they can use and bring into that ring. But you rarely see or hear that there's a FMA person going in there to become an MMA person. You know, not at a high level anyway. Not that I've ever seen. I've never.
I think Vera.
Huh?
Vera.
Well, Brendan Vera, yeah. I think he's the
Well,
only.
he's Filipino, but I don't know if he is a Filipino martial artist.
Exactly. He was in that movie.
Yeah.
He looked
He's
good there. He wasn't
Filipino,
using
does
Filipino
martial
martial
arts.
arts. So,
Yeah.
you know, but you get what I'm saying. You know, you have these people who you would think, because Filipino martial arts is a mixture of, so like you said, renegade, JKD. That's a great.
But you have Dulce Pares, you have Balentuak,
Yeah.
the state thing, and Remy did a lot of different things, and he built the synthesis. My problem is, and you mentioned it already, why do we have to change the name of the art?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have our own system? I think it's a lot of egocentric driven stuff.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and I said, well, my teacher did this, so I should do the same. No, you shouldn't. Keep the lineage going. I teach modern. I teach Kombatan. I teach a blend in my main curriculum. So as a whole, I call it Praeses Arnis to give the Praeses brothers equal respect.
Right.
But I give diplomas in the different arts
Right.
in addition to my Praeses.
Right, because you have the curriculum for each.
So I make sure they understand. But I never once tried. Listen, HMA is Horizon Martial Arts. It's not Hartman Martial Arts.
Right.
Hartman is the owner. And I don't need to do Hartman Arnis.
Right.
But other people have named it after their name. Oh, it's my name Kali, which, by the way, doesn't exist. Kali is not. I mean, you're Filipino. Is Kali in the Filipino language?
No.
So Kali doesn't list, but that was a marketing ploy. Good for you guys.
Yeah. Well, those guys on that side of the road, yes, definitely. They're just, you know.
Wasn't a PTA at one time? Pikiti Tertiary Arnis?
Yes.
Okay, just I thought that was.
So think about that, because Where the Filipino martial arts.
And I have a lot of bikini friends, by the way.
Kali-
Probably not more after that.
Well, you know as well as I do. Kali
got
is
us
actually
together.
Indonesian,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's where all that Kali, Indonesia, Malaysia, all of that. Is
Okay,
that side of.
let's go another one. I'm going to ask you this. So I get a lot of heat for being a non-Filipino Datu.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your culture, in your language, doesn't Datu just mean the chief?
Yep.
So there's Datu Puti, a food product.
Right.
If it was such a sacred Muslim title
Right.
in the country, which is mostly Christian, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
Catholic.
Catholic.
Catholic, yeah, wouldn't they not use it in their food product line?
You would think.
Isn't there multiple DJs out there that go by Datu this, that, and the other
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You're white.
I know I'm white.
That's
Proud of
why.
being
That's
white.
why it's wrong.
The tan guy said that, not this guy.
Bob's your uncle.
So
It's true because we've talked about this
Yeah.
a lot, and even us when we were coming up with the Blade in Mind, we kind of got stink from some of the Filipino
Yes,
FMA
definitely.
instructors because it's the secrets we were giving away and all the things that you should
Or
charge
what
for,
they
you shouldn't
think
give
are
away
secrets.
for free.
What really is your secret in martial arts? Come on. 2 hands, 2 feet.
train.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, you want to get good at something, do it. Tim, how do you get good at stick work? I hit things with a stick. How do you get good at punching? Punch shit.
Not actual shit, just
You know-
Yeah, no, it's gotta be hard.
But really,
That's
that is the
Squish.
truth about any kind of martial arts, isn't it? 2
Anything,
hands, 2
really.
feet.
Do it.
Yeah.
The more you do it,
The more you do it, the better you get at it.
My session we talked about everything's either on the X or on the plus.
Yes.
Okay, you can go high, middle, low,
Yes.
but it's still an X or it's on that plus line.
Yep.
Yes.
Asterisks.
And then after that, that's it. There really is nothing more than
And you can thrust on those lines too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our striking pattern.
Yeah, the clock system. Made popular by Doug Mercado. Thank you very much, Doug.
He's not.
Stop it.
That's in my bondo. I do that.
Yeah?
Dr. Gio did that.
Hey, let me ask you this. Can we get up here and have you do some demos with him being your rookie?
Can we take a quick break?
Sure.
Because people are packing up and they got my stuff, so I want to make sure I
get
got
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
It won't take me
And
about
folks,
a
we'll be
minute.
right back.
Be right back.
All right, folks, we're back. So now we do have Tim Hartman here of
Modern Ernest.
Modern Orniz
Racist Ernest.
at the Hartman Heart Center. Wait, what's it called?
Horizon Martial Arts.
Horizon Martial Heart Center.
We're in Reno right now. Don't let these guys fool you.
Yes, we're here at the
But that is
gathering, the
cool.
2022 gathering.
Yes.
Reno, Nevada.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful event, folks. If you ever get a chance, you got to come out to one of these things. Next year, they're going to be doing that in Sacramento.
Yeah,
At the
Double
Hotel.
Tree as far
Yeah.
as we know, but otherwise,
Yeah.
look out
That's
on
all we know.
Facebook for more information on that.
So I'm going to step out of here, and Tim, take it away.
All right.
Dude, so just cuz or
Okay, so here's the deal. This is the guys from Orlando Screamo gave this to me when I was down there last. Axe handle. So here's the thing. When we're talking about stuff I talk about cosplaying,
Yeah.
no one's gonna have a hunk of rattan.
No.
Where I grew up, it's baseball bats, axe handles, shovels, stuff of that nature.
Axe handles for real? Really?
Yeah.
What happened to the axe?
You go to jail for that. You do more time. It's not a lethal weapon without a blade. There you go. So
So it's kind of
so a
that
lot of
gray
times
area.
I will use this and replace that. Now rattan's a phenomenal training weapon,
Yeah.
but what do we use when we're doing hardcore stuff? Kamagan, Bahi, whatever, or aluminum trainers or stuff like that. So my mindset is this.
Okay.
So my approach is for weapons in the street first. But
As a
this
visual aid.
this is a safer training tool. Rattan absorbs shock, so less. When you go hardwood sticks, you get tendonitis.
I want to point something out that he said. It's a training tool, not a weapon. It's a tool. I just want to say that again because
So you can articulate that when you get pulled over.
yeah, it's
So-
a tool, officer.
So because I'm dealing with that, it's a much heavier weapon. There's 3 ways to hit a target: hit at, hit in, hit through. Most likely, the people in the street are going to be hitting through.
Okay.
So a lot of times, we have 3 blocks. We have an unbraced, we have a brace, and we have a dos manos. in martial arts, in the martial art industry, they do the same thing. Unbraced blocks and parries, braced blocks, and dos manos, two-handed blocking. So the problem with Filipino martial arts, it doesn't have a real well-established nomenclature. We didn't have a nomenclature in modern days for the most part. It was do this one, do that. Okay. The disarms were numbered, not named.
Oh, okay.
So I added names. Like this, the number 2 is the snake. Number 3 is the hitchhiker.
Right, but it's more just to get the point across of the motion itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because you might, and I've seen it before, people get the numbers mixed up. They do the wrong. All right. So it is what it is, and you may have memorized them in the wrong order.
Definitely true.
Or professor taught them in a different order at the seminar because
Than what they.
yeah, because we're still a seminar-based delivery system as a martial art as a whole. Because there's a bunch of training groups, but a lot of people go to seminars to get stuff.
Right.
And who knows if the person was on point, was thinking about something else, got distracted, whatever.
Or hungover.
Could be. So what I'm gonna just do a quick progression. This is how we can talk about there's open hand combatives and what we do.
Question: would this fall under your presses, your Remy?
Remy,
All of it.
Remy and Ernesto. Okay, Combatant is built on the modern East chassis, so there's a lot of things that are the same.
Okay.
But if you look at multiple cars, okay, you have the Dodge Neon and the Dodge PT Cruiser. They're both on the same chassis, but one's a sedan and the other is like a mini SUV.
Right.
They're two completely different vehicles. If you look at a lot of the side-by-side washer dryers, a lot of the same. Hey, we're doing a video shot here.
Hi, little one.
I don't want you getting hit. So.
It's not the first time she went in front of the camera.
Okay, so if you look at a lot of side-by-side washer and dryers, if you didn't know which is which, you would know they have a lot of the same parts. But one deals with water, the other deals with fire. A little different. So, you know. Now, what I'm going to do here, so there's martial art, there's martial sport, there's martial combat. So I'm going to go down the combatives, more of a self-defense application of things. So I usually start with the brace block, and here's the reason why professors started this. Because when people first started doing Filipino martial arts, they didn't have the grip strength. Okay? So what would happen? Everyone thought it was Ash Wednesday. It was Saturday, maybe a Sunday. So that wasn't working, okay? So until people develop that grip strength. But here's the thing. Okay, let's go back to the basics.
Disarm.
Okay, solo disarm. So what are one of the two ways you think you'd swing that? What's one way someone would swing this at?
This?
Don't really swing it.
Realistically.
Realistically, what's one swing? What's another swing? No. You're thinking angles.
Oh.
You're not. Oh, yeah. No.
Okay. No, there's the difference.
Okay, angles are different. We don't give a damn about the angle. Here's one way of swinging at you.
Okay.
Here's another way of swinging at you.
Ah.
So this is a common attack. Okay, show me an unbraced block. Just put that block up there. You may be talented enough to block that and keep that from happening, but are your students? And I teach to the lowest common denominator first. So I'm teaching to the beginner. Now, I don't know of anyone that can stop a baseball bat swing like this for real. But if you can, you got my respect. But teaching your students to do that, that's irresponsible, in my opinion.
Right.
But that's only my lowly opinion as an American pretending to do Filipino martial arts.
You cosplay.
So when the swing comes in, exactly, I will block to reinforce this in case. Because, you know, once again, I can do this,
Right.
but not all my students can. So from there, I'm going to capture, and I'm going to do a forearm strip and a hit. This is just one progression. Okay, so we swing, I do my brace block, I would grab, I would go here like this. But in all actuality, that's not going to work like that. Okay? I can't stop that stick that way. This is a hard, non-porous, non-sticky surface. Swing all the way through. Your stick ended up there.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not over there. Okay? Hold the stick up. My turn. Stop the stick. Stop the stick. I'm going slow. Okay? I'm going slow. That was a foul. Okay, so hold the stick like this. This is hit at. This is hit in. This is hit through. If I do a hit through strike, he is not going to stop that. Okay? So then why practice this way? Now here's the thing. Talked about it earlier. How comfortable do you feel hitting me right now with that stick? I'm just Tim, off the street.
Oh, Tim off the street?
Tim off the street.
If I was a dick, very comfortable.
Okay. Tim off the street still. How comfortable do you feel right now?
If it was still Tim off the street? Not as comfortable, but I think I'd be pretty good.
So he's concerned that he might get hit. So your level of commitment going in may be a little different, right?
Just slightly.
You might do more hit at than hit in and hit through.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay. So you're also thinking as the Filipino martial artist. We got to get the F out.
That should be the slogan.
It is my slogan.
Oh, nice.
So here's the deal. Let's just say for some reason I have multiple attackers, whatever, and I'm armed. I'm going to wade through the line like there's no tomorrow if my life's in jeopardy and this is the tool. But once someone presents another weapon, I got to rethink everything because now I can get hit back with a weapon. I'm not saying I'm not concerned with them punching or kicking me. What I'm saying is I can outdistance them, I can hit them, I can hit a knee and then a head or whatever because I'm armed and they're not. Okay, but now we're on equal terms and now we both have to worry about getting hit. But here's the thing. It's not about this, it's about this. Because if you look at most of the disarming, someone steps forward with all this commitment and swings. Once again, why? The person's armed. Would you really do that level of commitment at them? So, I start with swing at me here, pop, and I do a disarm. Because you present in a manner, not a non-follow through strike. And then later what happens, I built up, I increased my knowledge. I got good technique, timing, coordination, and here's the big one, confidence. So now step a little farther back. Make sure you can't hit my hand from there. Okay, now step in and swing, hit me. Now I do the technique. Because I can, because he's willing to commit because I'm unarmed. He's coming to me and I don't have to do as big of a step. Why? Because he's coming to me, so I have to meet him, I get to meet him part way. In my opinion, this is my application, the modern day applications that I use for stick disarms. Because they're not supposed to be stick, in my opinion.
Foot, temple,
But that's
nerve
what.
cluster.
Oh, but wait a minute, it doesn't end there. So let me see here.
Oh wait, there's more. If you act now.
So let's do without the disarm. Swing here, just easy. 1, 2, 3. We've all seen this before, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Do the disarm. We're in teaching mode. Okay, put the stick down. Grab me. It's the same motion. Okay, what happens is here's the stick, here's the grab, here's the stick or knife. Now, people used to attack like this all the time. Why? Because usually it came from feudal Japan, everyone was armored, the weapon break, you have nothing, you step in and commit to hit. So that became a teaching progress. Is that a relevant attack anymore? You might say no, but wait, it can be. What kind of an attack does the hand stay out?
Oh, a grab.
A grab.
Right.
Now, you go to grab it. Now the technique works. Now the technique has relevance. So, 1, 2, 3, put the hand out. Block, grab, hit, cut, grab, hit. Okay, now, so we just use the training tool to teach open hand combatives.
Ha!
And there's my modern Ernie's minute.
All right, folks. If you act now, you will also get a cuddly hug from Tim Hartman.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That was so simple.
Patent pending.
Of an 11-minute lesson in what you're saying that modern arts, Artemis, is really just
Martial arts.
understanding martial arts and how it works. You know, whether there's a tool involved or not, it really is all the same thing.
Well, in the sense of the progression behind it, because people don't understand its realism once you take out all the elements of the class.
Because real application is a real pain in the ass.
At the end of the day, don't think of this as a weapon. Look at it as a teaching tool.
Right.
So it's a prop. So a lot of times we're doing things with your left and right. Well, the one that makes the letter L, for those who don't know that. Or you put a prop in your hand. Like when I'm doing Sinwalis, for those, obviously if you watch this, you probably know what a Sinwali is.
Right.
So what's a quick way of teaching it? Put a padded stick in one hand and a rattan stick in the other. So we'll do the rattan in the right, usually, and then padded in the left. So rattan, padded, padded. You do colors, you do shapes, you do things. So you do props to teach different things to make it quicker. This is, how do you slap, grab, hit? Well, you put something in your hand so you know this is the grabber, this is the stabber.
Boom. I can't grab with the stabber.
Exactly. So then, because I've seen too many people get their hands confused. Like if you put the hand out, as if, I go 1, 2, and then try to, I'm like, no, it's 1, 2, 3. Well, here, I'll make it simple here. 1, this only has one job, that's grab. Boom. And you go to do it again, and you block with your hand. Now I do the obstruction removals, and I can do stuff from there. All the same thing we do with the weapons.
Right.
So that's just a conduit to teach this. But unfortunately, at least in modern, well, no, because Filipino martial arts started on a seminar basis, there's a lot of things like this that probably never got out there.
Oh, yeah, I believe you. Yes.
And part of the problem is a bunch of Filipinos saw that Remy Praces, he was a goodwill ambassador of the Filipinos with diplomatic papers. He was on 2 world tours. He was the one that started doing seminars and stuff.
Right.
And he was the one that people saw make money in the Western world
They said, "I
teaching
can
martial
do
arts, and they said, I can do
I
it.
can do that.
How many times do we say, okay, for those who haven't been over, you watch someone make something, then someone do a knockoff.
Oh, yeah, right off.
It's not just China.
Especially in the
Oh no, dude. Yeah. Well, in the United States, fake sneakers is like $1 billion industry.
Yeah. But I mean, there's not the FMA. Everyone saw that these guys should do it, and a lot of people took modern Eastern school system, and then they started making their own systems.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, folks, we got to feed this old man because this doesn't go on its own.
Yeah, this is a high performance machine.
That's right.
That we need to fuel on a regular
You
basis.
said we have to get the F out. This is really F right there.
That's it.
Lots and lots of it.
Lots.
Anyway, thank you, Tim.
Oh,
Hartman.
dude, it was worth the wait, right?
Man of
Super worth the wait.
many talents.
Well, you know,
Many
today
opinions.
has
Many
been
opinions.
full of incredibly scary individuals.
Yeah, dude.
The nicest guys, right? The nicest guys, but yeah.
So this is
That was the other guys. I didn't do it.
this is us at Conversation with me, Rick,
And me, Naeem, and
and our special guest, Tim Hartman, who we
Tim.
finally got on the show. Thank you
Tim.
so much for joining us, dude.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
so awesome.
Thank you.
And as we always say, 3, 2, 1, cut!